Every time. Every fucking time.
That's what happens when you get the pick and roll. And Marty ditches us for Omaha. Just kidding. He's busy. Time conflicts happen. This is the Barstool Bench Mob presented by High Noon Hard Seltzer. If you couldn't tell already, it's the pick and roll. Rico and I are back for another off-season episode. And Rico, we have an off-season guest today. We have Christian Vital, former UConn Husky. He ended his career in 2020.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to ask him about them being back in the Big East. He's playing overseas now. He's a Queens kid, so I'm going to dive into that. A lot of stuff to offer.
Yeah, also some big news with the NCAA and the Supreme Court. It's a weird combination there, but here we are. The NCAA got body bagged a little bit, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, but we'll dive into that. There's some trouble with Big Cat School, Madison, Wisconsin. There's some other trouble with your best friends over in Omaha.
What a shame.
Creighton.
Yeah, hate to see it. Yeah, hate to see that.
So we'll dive into that. Then, of course, more scheduling, more transfers, more coaching news. The offseason rolls on mid-June, end of June right now, getting closer to another month of the offseason. It's actually
crazy because it does feel like 5 minutes ago we were watching the championship game and even games in January, and now it's already July, and pretty soon the schedule is going to roll out. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's a year-long business, so let's get right into it.
Absolutely. And here we go.
Here's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up.
For the championship. Step back. Walker. Cardiac Kemba does it again. Full finish at three. The flipper still fits. Hamilton. It's time to them. Again. Double order.
All right, so let's open up with the biggest news. Crazy to say of the two big retirements, so I can't really say that. But I mean, I guess in the realm of big picture and which way the NCAA is going, you want to touch on the court findings and what exactly was going on with that? How do we break that down in layman's terms?
Yeah,
for stupid people like Marty.
Right. So basically, they went to the Supreme Court about the NCAA and their amateurism rules, and basically a 9-0 vote, unanimous. Basically saying that what the NCAA is doing is simply not right. And we've been on that. We've had Jordan Bohannon. He's ranted, caught a little backlash from March Madness about the soap and the towels.
Yeah, I mean, Cheetos.
Yeah, all of that stuff. And now the Supreme Court of the United States is calling out the NCAA and being like, what you're doing is not okay. Everyone deserves to be compensated for their work. The line that sticks out to me, after saying like what the NCAA, and it's still important, we need all these championships around the country, the NCAA is not above the law. For the Supreme Court to say that about you is just a big wake-up call, I guess, for the NCAA.
They were above the law for a couple hundred
they got
years.
away with this for so long.
So I guess the jig is up at this point. I mean, it kind of goes back to O'Bannon. Who would you say is the biggest guy making the move with this? Do you think it started with O'Bannon being vocal about the video game rights?
Bohannon.
No, O'Bannon. Ed O'Bannon. You don't know who Ed O'Bannon is.
I thought you were mixing him up with Bohannon being vocal. It all made sense.
You don't know who Ed O'Bannon. I'm so old, it's sick. I'm 34 years old, and it's
I thought
like
you were
I'm
just having a tongue
kid's,
twister.
This kid's very smart. I was like, I'm this kid's dad. Ed O'Bannon played for UCLA. He's on the 95 championship team, the O'Bannon brothers. They were vocal.
O'Bannon versus NCAA.
Yes.
It was in 2014, so I should know that.
Okay. They started all that stuff with mostly the video game rights.
Got it, and that's why it all started.
And it kind of just started to, and then people started to realize, if this guy's making noise, and O'Bannon got some leeway, got some traction with this, and then guys like Bohannon are just the icing on top of the cake.
Bohannon
and O'Bannon, ready to roll.
The Spider-Man meme with pointing at each other.
Actually, it makes it so weird to me that Jake's like, do you know what you're talking about? And like the Baylor thing.
It's
good. We got an age gap on this show, folks. We got an age gap.
Yeah, so that's the biggest news. And I think the biggest thing we were talking about a little bit before the show
Jay
is
Billis, too.
Oh, yeah.
So if I had to put like a Mount Rushmore of
killing
the NCAA, it's O'Bannon, Bohannon, Billis. And I feel like social media, right? So like that's what gave all these guys a voice. If Bohannon didn't have social media, if Jay Billis wasn't killing people, right?
Yeah.
podcasts. I mean, we're part of. Like, I feel
I'd
like
say maybe the media.
yeah, media.
fans.
I would say that's the Mount
overall.
Rushmore of the way things are going to change.
Right. So, yeah, the domino effect. This doesn't directly mean that players are starting to get paid in a snap.
No.
But it's a step.
Yes.
And as the days go on and as the NCAA gets exposed more by the highest levels of our government or whatever, it's going to start resulting in money in players' pockets, which is a long deserving thing.
The thing, I mean, whatever. I'm on the side of the kids, but I guess where it gets dicey is, could you see guys like holding out for more money, or do they? You know, where it
I feel like
starts
that
to get
might be
almost
a
like
little greedy to start
right?
off.
Yeah, right. Like
I think it's more the principle right now.
yeah, that's the only
Like
kind of
if Bohannon gets $20 for an autograph, he's not going to be like, I'm not taking it. I want $50.
right. Of course, yeah.
Like it's a start, and obviously he's got one more year to take advantage of this, but he also wants to do it for the younger guys and be the one who
like
historically
leaving
looks back and be
a
like,
legacy, for
I was
sure.
the one who really put the pressure on the NCAA,
Yes.
and he's doing a great job of that. Obviously, people don't like him, but he embraces being the villain with some people, I guess. But he's our friend, and that's all that matters.
friend of the program. We'll be on the show again this year.
We should have him on in a couple of weeks to really break it down for us, because I'll admit I don't understand every aspect of it. I feel
Yeah,
like
he's a
he
smart
does,
guy.
though.
He's dealing with some shit now, but
Right.
no, we'll definitely get him on.
Yeah, so that's the biggest news, not only for college basketball, but for all of college athletics. Obviously, football generates a lot of money.
Without
too.
a doubt.
So
I mean, they're saying they're going to be able to make money off their own gear, right? Jersey, like
yeah, probably. I mean,
All
you
right,
see
so-
people with like
yeah.
Tebow jerseys after like 10 years after.
I mean, this goes back to the
Whatever.
Mitch Albom book with Chris Webber. Mitch Albom's very, very good author. He wrote the Fab Five book. He was in the documentary on ESPN, the Fab Five, and he says the story, as the story goes, he's walking along past the store, and there's a Michigan jersey in there for like $80, and it says Chris Webber jersey. It doesn't have his name on it, but it's the Chris Webber jersey. He's like, that they're getting $80 from that jersey. Michigan's getting money because they licensed it to him, and he's like, I got to ask you for $5 to go take a cab. He was, like he's
Yeah.
like, where's my piece? This is back for years, So it's interesting to see that finally guys are getting paid. And you look back on if they did it for so long, how many guys would have been like,
Right.
what would
So much
Jimmer
FOMO.
have been making off his own T-shirts? What would Adam Morrison have been
crying
making?
T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah, like even bad stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. What would the Fab Five
I wonder
have done?
what the timeline's going to look like. Like this college sports season, are we going to start seeing people paid? We don't know.
It's Supreme
Depends.
Court. They'll still drag their feet. I could see 2 years maybe. I feel like it starts.
Yeah,
I don't know.
couple years.
That's
I mean, when they announced the NCAA football game returning, everyone got so excited, and you read the fine print, it's like, see you in 2023 or whatever.
course.
It's like, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so yeah, that was the biggest news in college sports. Moving on to Madison, Wisconsin, and we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. This is pretty much
Kinda
a story
just
that-
broke.
Yeah, an hour or two ago. So Madison, Wisconsin, obviously. Madison Sports released a story saying the 7 seniors on last year's Badgers team had pointed criticism for Coach Greg Gard during a disappointing season. We're not here to build your resume, one of them told Gard. Another said Wisconsin doesn't feel like home. I know we were very critical on Wisconsin down the stretch. They didn't really have a hot season, especially as things approached March, and we kind of felt this, like how can they not click like this when they have all seniors, but I guess it's starting to be revealed now.
two biggest takeaways for me is that it makes sense because Wisconsin was not anything spectacular all year, right? Like just couldn't put it together.
To get the tournament win over
Yeah, I
UNC.
mean, didn't have like an all-star type player. Didn't really have that click. It seems like obviously there were locker room issues, but the biggest thing to me, and having bet on North Carolina, what does this say about North Carolina in the first round?
Yeah.
They get their doors blown off
And
by a
Roy
Wisconsin
Williams.
team.
Tough way to go.
Yeah, but they knew he had to go, right? What does this say about Did Carolina hate Roy Williams? That's my spin zone. Forget Greg Gard. I think Carolina hated Roy Williams at the end.
Yeah, the thing, there's a couple of aspects of this Wisconsin story. Reading through it, Wisconsin State Journal. It was a secretly recorded 37-minute audio file from that was sent anonymously on Monday. Basically, it was in the Kohl Center Media Room, February 19th. Why is that being recorded?
I don't know. Maybe they thought Gard was going to say something. I don't know. They were trying to get. I don't know. I don't agree with that as well either.
Yeah,
I know one of Bobby Knight's halftime speeches leaked once. People record. I don't know. People record shit. I don't know.
But now it's obviously probably only going to get uglier for them. But we'll see. I mean, Greg Gard, he's been at Wisconsin as a head coach for 6 years now, but he's been there since 2001 as an assistant until 2008. He became the associate head coach, obviously Bo Ryan. One more interesting aspect, we talked about this right before, Sam Decker, obviously former Wisconsin friend of Big Cat, championship team, or runner-up. He tweeted in defense of Greg Gard. He said, "Who the hell gave these guys the idea that they're bigger than the program? Never been angrier reading an article, and recording a meeting is the softest thing I've ever seen. Grow up. Coach is coach. Gard isn't the one on an 8-minute scoring drought every game. Get out of here."
Okay. Deck, I don't have a horse in the race. I don't root for Wisconsin. I used to like Bo Ryan a lot. He was consistent. But Decker had the most successful time, would you say, in
when
Wisconsin?
you think of Wisconsin basketball, you think Kaminsky and Decker, right?
Without a doubt.
Nigel Hayes,
okay, without a doubt. They probably should have beat Duke in that championship game.
Yeah.
Thank God Marty's not here because he doesn't understand. He just would freak out. They probably should have beat Duke.
Imagine having that Supreme Court talk with Marty off the top.
Shot. So they probably should have beat Duke. I think memories can be a lot rosier when you're succeeding. So
right, winning heals everything.
Yeah, at the time, hey, Gard is the good assistant. We got him. Now he's the head role. One, he's in a different role, so guys might be seeing a different side of him. He can't be their best friend anymore. He can't be good cop, bad cop, right, with the head coach. And two, did the winning cover up that everyone else thought he was an asshole? Did people before Decker think he was an asshole? Did people after think?
Yeah.
And these guys are just kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know the guy from a hole in the wall. And I don't disrespect Decker. I actually like him standing up for the guy. I just think people change in different roles, you know, and your experience might be different than what their experience is. That's really all I can say. I don't know anything about what's going on. I just think
this is new. We don't really have.
Yeah, I think if you
story.
talk to a guy who played for Krzyzewski in the 80s and you talk to a guy who played for Krzyzewski now, he's a lot different. You know, he didn't have kids back then. Like shit changes you. He has kids, and then you're watching somebody scream at your kids when you have kids. Kind of changes it. Maybe he's a little bit softer now, where he goes about things differently. That could change. That's all I'm gonna say. So it's weird. I mean, the only people who are gonna know are those people in the room. But I think Gard changing roles, that can be different. I think you might run into that with Hubert Davis a little bit, or John Shire.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you were supposed to be. You know, when I was complaining about Krzyzewski and I was in a slump and he was riding me, I used to go to you and you'd be my biggest supporter. Now you're the head coach. Can you be in that same role? That's sports. That's what makes there's the intricacies of a locker room. It's like an office, team building. That shit's legit. That's sports. So that's what makes the best ones work. Phil Jackson, you know, that shit works.
Right. So we were talking a couple of minutes ago about why it was being recorded. I mean, I do see the other point. Again, this is me being down the middle again, but if there's actually bad stuff going on in the locker room, the truth should come out. Right. So I do see both sides of it, but I guess the truth will eventually come out in this. Again, very early stages, but I don't know. It's interesting. Wisconsin, I mean, I think it's just a big sense of frustration. They're the oldest team in the country, and they can't get to the second weekend. That's
it's just
not
something
ideal.
about that program. Like, maybe it's just a Big Ten stigma. Like, they're not going to get there, you know? And I know Big Cat's voiced frustration on Greg Gard. Like, they're going to be what they are. They're always going to make the tournament, but
they're win it all.
Yeah, they're just going to be
maybe
what
a Final
they are.
Four run.
You're going to
like
have a couple of
seed.
memories, exactly. So, the fact they made a championship game, like,
6 years
that's
ago.
a testament to them. So,
You know, Frank Kaminsky's on the Suns, by the way. He's still alive in the NBA.
Yeah. Now, hold on. You said 6 years. Was that Bo Ryan's swan song in that championship game? It was not Greg Gard in the championship, right?
Yes, it was, because he took over in 2015. You know what? Bo Ryan actually stepped down like all of a sudden after a game in a post-game press conference, I'm pretty sure.
I knew that. I knew he just faded into the night. Who coached the championship game?
Bo Ryan did.
Bo Ryan did, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew Greg Gard didn't get to a fucking championship game. I knew that.
Yeah, because here it is. On December 15th, 2015, so it was April 2015, the championship. So the next season,
yeah.
Ryan announced his retirement as the head coach. So it was just all of a sudden like non-conference.
When did he
game.
announce his retirement?
December 15th,
Yeah,
2015.
he just faded, right?
It was just in the middle of a
Did he say it was health?
I don't
I hope
remember
not,
exactly.
but maybe he's covering up something. Not right that he should. He has his own privacy, whatever. But Yeah, it was weird. Bo Ryan just fucking gone. No swan song, nothing. Like, see ya.
Yeah, they were. You know what? They were 7-5 that season in the non-conference. I feel like that's not an ideal record. You probably have a lot of bye games.
Yeah, I
But-
don't think he would hang it up though.
Yeah,
All right,
I mean, you probably realize. All right, I just had Kaminsky and Decker, and
it ain't
not-
getting any better.
Right.
I just blew that lead.
to get back to the championship
Getting any
game, it's
better.
like, all right, it's an uphill
I think
battle.
they were up. What were they up at the half?
in the
They
championship.
up 10 at the half. Am I misremembering that? Duke was down.
April 6th, 2015, tied at 31.
Tied at 31 at the half.
68-63 final. That was the Grayson Allen
I feel
coming
like
out
Wisconsin
party, right?
Wisconsin
He's a
had
freshman.
had a bigger lead in the second half.
Yeah. Frank Kaminsky had 21, Nigel Hayes 13, Sam Decker 12, Bronson Koenig 10. They didn't really have any production off the
I
bench.
think they went cold at the end.
And it was Trey Jones, Justice Winslow, Julio Okafor.
You have to
Grayson
play-
Allen
yeah.
16 off the bench.
Oh yeah, it was the Grayson Allen coming out party. I remember that.
Yeah.
But go to the you have the play-by-play, like the score. They have did they blow it? They
In
blew
the
a lead.
second half?
Yeah, pretty positive they blew a lead.
Let's see. 46-39 Wisconsin with 14 minutes left. 54-50 Wisconsin with 9 minutes left. And then it was pretty even.
All
You know
right.
what? Actually, Duke was up 66-58 with 1:24 left in regulation.
Oh, so they crawled back into it.
Yeah. They ended it
All
on a big
Yeah,
run.
I knew Wisconsin just couldn't fucking make anything. But I mean, that's it. I mean, that's their best chance. So
Yeah, they crawled back, cut it back to 3. But yeah, so I guess we'll keep you updated on the developments of this Wisconsin.
I mean, who do
story.
they go? The other thing is, who do they go get? Everybody else has kind of moved on. Like, let's say Greg Gard is not the guy. I think you're already kind of committed to now, right? What are you just
Yeah.
going to promote another assistant? They're in limbo land. It's a bad spot.
Also, the Big Ten.
Fucking Big Ten.
The Big Ten. I don't know.
Never picking the Big Ten. Ever
Yeah.
again.
So Greg Gard, I mean, he made the Sweet 16 his first 2 seasons. They really should have made the Elite 8. The Gators stole one in that half-court buzzer beater,
Yep.
Chioza. Then they missed the tournament in 2018. First round exit 2019. Tournament canceled last year. Then second round this year. So, I
all
don't
right.
know.
I mean, he's he's
They
not
did-
necessarily killing it. At
They
Wisconsin.
did tie for first in the Big Ten last year, and the tournament got canceled.
Okay.
So that's unfortunate luck. But yeah, we'll see what happens with there if things get ugly or if they calm down. I don't know. We'll see. And then another place that's dealing with some issues right now, your guys in Omaha. Creighton, 2 years probation following an NCAA investigation. Former assistant coach Preston Murphy receives a 2-year show cause penalty. So
Yeah, I read the tweet from Goodman. What did it say? He's saying he didn't take the money. It was a lie detector. The assistant coach is paying people. What are they doing wrong? What's
right
up?
now,
You gotta get in here.
I don't mean to be hijacking the show.
No, we love it.
Marty's not here, so somebody's got to
I
throw
know.
things
We're
off
doing the pick
rails.
and roll today.
Yeah. Rico, how about this? How about I'll be Rico on this show, and you guys try to be Pledge Master Dan, Pledge Master Dave.
Okay, just recreate.
Yeah.
Just recreate it.
Just recreate the pick'em.
All right. So we have Oklahoma State laying 6 at Iowa State this week.
Wait, we're just pretending like there's
Yeah.
a game this week?
Yeah.
Well, why not? Let's talk about the NBA lottery. Cade Cunningham. You think this guy's legit? You think he deserves the number 1 pick?
Without a doubt, we're big Cade Cunningham guys.
I don't know. He didn't go on our podcast. So,
You wanted us to kick up?
well, I'm just saying.
We gave you every kick
No,
up
he's
your ass.
Rico right now.
I'm Rico.
He's Rico.
This is way above my
Rico,
my
have you-
head.
have
Cade
you-
Cunningham did go on our podcast.
He didn't go on my podcast.
He didn't go on my podcast.
What happens if I mention the guy who shall not be named?
Which guy? There are a lot of guys.
Nadu.
Oh,
What do you do?
Whoa, Jeff Nadeau?
Yeah.
I'd snap his fucking neck. I snapped that guy's fucking neck. No, this is PFT talking. I love it. His all due respect, he's got a good podcast. I'm not speaking about like his interpersonal relationship with Rico and everything that happens behind the scenes. I'm talking just in terms of X's and O's, nuts and bolts. The man knows how to broadcast. He does a quality show. He plans it out really well. He's got great dynamic, good flow with his co-host. Now, I'm not saying that he's better at it than Rico at when it comes to like sports gambling or talking about college basketball, but when it comes to knowing how to put together a narrative podcast, the guy is like top 2 in the world, and he's not number 2.
What about Rico now?
If I'm Rico,
Yeah.
I snap his fucking windpipe. I shove a fucking cigar down his throat and close his mouth like he's fucking Paul Castellano laying down on the streets in New York, bleeding out the back of his head. That's what I do if I'm fucking Rico.
I love it.
BFT, one of the best.
All right, I love you guys.
Love you too.
Maybe next time you talk to Cade Cunningham, kick him up.
All right.
Yeah.
We gave you a kick up.
Yeah, Nate Oates.
Nate Oates, yeah.
We're
Nate
visiting
Oates
him
was
next
good.
month in a
We'll
few
be
weeks.
Okay, Nate Oates was actually very concerned because I think you guys were interviewing Musselman when we were interviewing.
Yeah,
Nate
there
Yeah,
Oates.
was,
same
we
exact
listen.
time.
We're also going down there as well.
You
The
stabbed him in the back.
SEC needs a reality show.
Do you
the
think?
SEC needs a reality?
Do you
show.
ever feel guilty that you tell like Nate Oates how much you love him and how much of a friend of the show he is, and then you go just like slob up to Eric Musselman? Because like I'm on the Muss bus too,
Right.
But like I'm not out here telling Nate Oates like you're my SEC guy. You guys,
I picked 2 SEC teams for the Final Four. They were Alabama and Arkansas.
Elite Eight, Elite Eight.
So what do you want? I mean,
it seems
it's
like
good.
you guys play a
The
lot of
SEC,
sides
it's
of a lot
good.
of different.
Oh, I'm
corners.
down the middle 100%. That's
You
the
are.
beauty of being down the middle because you can be
Exactly.
friends with everybody.
So Jake, I expect this from Jake 100% because like that's his job as a play-by-play guy, and coming from a Big J background, he knows that you have to be neutral. Rico, on the other hand, is anything but neutral ever when he's talking about sports.
Yeah, but he just wants the merch.
He lives and dies for the
Lives
free
and dies for the
jumpsuits.
merch.
The guy's never seen a sweatshirt he hasn't loved.
No, we
But-
also love Will Wade too. I mean, anybody. Listen, you got the other thing you got to remember is everybody's chasing Calipari. So all the SEC guys are going to be my friends because they're all going to whack Calipari.
Will Wade class act. Don't use whack. Don't use that's stealing valor from, the other guy. You can't say whack. You don't do Mafia podcast.
Okay.
We actually should talk about doing a Mafia. Rico, I want to ask you this sincerely. And it's very ironic that your name is Rico and you absolutely hate the Mafia. But would you like to come on to an episode of Macrodosing where we talk about the Mafia?
I don't think it's in my forte.
You could be your Mafia specialist.
I don't think it's in my forte. I'll look into it.
You look into
What-
it. We're
what
looking
is-
into it right now. What do you mean? You
I
have
feel
to
like
check your
Rico's very
schedule.
I need to weigh
Uncomfortable
the. I need to weigh the pros and cons.
No, we would love to have you on Macrodosing.
All right.
And
Who's Arian Foster repped by?
who is
What
he
does that
rep,
matter?
who is
Who
he
his
repped
agent
by?
is?
Well, you
Like-
think there's a
no,
conflict?
no.
You think that his
Well,
agent
I
and your
mean-
agent might have beef?
Nike, Adidas. Like, what's he bringing to the episode?
What school are
What's
you?
falling off a truck?
Are you asking like what free merch we can
Yes,
get you? I got
without
some
a doubt.
stickers. I got some
Without a doubt.
stickers on my desk.
You got stickers. All
Yeah,
right.
I got.
I'm
Stickers.
holding out for a pair of Nikes.
Texans? You're a Texans fan?
I'll wear a Texans polo.
Tennessee?
I play golf. No, because of the Lummox. I won't wear Tennessee.
Oh yeah,
Big T.
Big T's on the podcast.
Oh,
I'm out. Violates my contract.
You did cornhole with Big T?
No, Hank fucking pulls the refs, and what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
All right,
It's a bad example for the kids.
I will ban Big T from talking on this episode of Macrodosing
All right.
if you come on, Rico.
I'll consider
But
it. Put it on my list.
What's your list?
What's your
Where's your
list?
list?
things of considering.
Do you
Okay,
have a rep?
My rep? No, I need a rep.
What do we get?
Contract's almost up. What do you get?
Yeah, what do we get?
I'll
got
get it. We'll
Reebok,
get
Fila.
another guaranteed kick up next season. You know, we had some big guests. The green room is loaded with mobsters.
Do I get to name? I get to name my kick up.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll get to name my kick up. We'll get you.
But it can't be somebody I don't have. Like, we have to have already had the envelope secured.
Rico, no offense, but like I don't know if I can see you pulling off macrodosing merch. Like you don't strike me as a tie dye guy.
Probably not.
I've never seen you wear
Solids.
yeah,
Stripes.
mostly like grays. You're
Yeah.
a big gray, black, white guy.
Yep. I don't think I could do tie-dye. But
Probably not, but we can get you some stickers.
All right.
And then one kick up, and we'll do a Mafia episode. It'll be
Okay,
great.
fair
I think it
enough.
might break records.
All right. We'll look into it.
All right. Love you guys.
Love
I'll
you.
let you get back to the show.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
They
thank
love-
you guys.
They often say the unexpected plans turn out to be the best ones.
They do. Expect the unexpected.
Yep.
Or college basketball, where unexpected
It
becomes
was the ordinary.
The
ordinary. Yeah.
I have one quote. I don't know if anyone's ever said it. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans.
That's good. I think that was John Lennon. That
Did
said
he
that.
say that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Mine is just shit happens. Shit happens.
Well, that was interesting. That was exciting. A barge in from PFT. It turned out to some fun conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if we can name that company, but the company's probably getting a free ad in ours. So congratulations to them. PFT just drops in, goes on a variety of different things.
Yeah.
That's why he's the best.
That's peak off season right here.
Yes.
Because
we're going to, and he's going to.
He helped us there.
In the episode thing, it'll be featuring special guest cameo by PFT. They'll be like, why is he in there? But, hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, really breaking down the James Madison.
Exactly.
Peaks, the CAA, tough season.
Exactly.
They're supposed to win the CAA, then their best player got hurt and really unraveled there. That's probably what people are thinking when they see that on the title, the CAA. Anyways, back on track.
Yeah, I mean, Creighton cheats. They big-time people and they cheat. What else do I have to say? What exactly did the guy do, though? Get into the nuts and bolts of what he really did. Because some of this stuff that they come down on, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, so during the bribery investigation that led to the arrest of 4 D1 coaches, a federal indictment in March 2019 accused Murphy of accepting a $6,000 payment from an undercover FBI agent during a meeting with Christian Dawkins. That was the HBO doc. Yeah, so I guess he was part of that. There was a 2017 meeting in Las Vegas agreeing to steer players to Dawkins' management company. Murphy resigned in November 2019. So I guess it stems from that.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are dirty, unfortunately. There is elements of this business that are dirty, so it's just he ended up at Creighton. Creighton's got to deal with it. Are they saying ban for the tournament? What are they saying?
Probation.
Saying?
2 years probation.
2 years probation.
So they're still eligible for the tournament, and yeah, I mean,
that's the other thing I want to know.
Also, I will say this, Rico.
Did McDermott know? Do these guys who have dirty assistants we'll never get the answer, but do they know?
We asked for Coach McDermott or any of their players.
We were just building a relationship.
Yes,
somebody put me in touch.
It's Preston Murphy, he resigned in November 2019 before we had this podcast. So when we asked, he was long gone.
All right.
But still, Creighton, if you're listening, we would love to have Coach McDermott on or some players.
Yeah, we'll
Rico will
we'll climb back in those DMs.
Rico's willing to.
Hopefully, I haven't listened to this year where I just shit on him left and right.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I'd love to have McDermott.
Yes, so that's.
I would love to have Doug McDermott too.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Creighton in the Big East.
Before we get to our interview with Christian Vital, overseas basketball player, former UConn star, we want to tell you about our friends at High Noon. I can't. I'm trying to think of different ways other than to tell you that it's just the most delightful drink you've ever had in your life. The bus ride I was on, I was in a wedding Saturday, and
you do look tan.
I do.
Yes.
More red than tan.
Yeah.
But we got to work on that. Yeah. But the negotiation as me being part of a groomsman was, do you have a cooler full of High Noons? It's a 2-hour bus ride from Staten Island to LBI. I need High Noons because I can't be drinking anything else. I had a special stash, High Noons. Beautiful.
The new grapefruit. Or, excuse me, the new
passion fruit.
Passion fruit.
The other good thing, you're wearing a tux. They don't spill. The black cherry is a little red. Some of them are colored, but for the most part, you have a lime. It's like drinking club soda.
Right.
Does not spill.
And
nothing
God
to worry
forbid
about.
something does happen, they're all clear.
Yes.
So if you get it on a tuxedo, you're good.
Clean.
Right.
Unbelievable. It's the best. Got a couple of golf outings coming up this summer. They're already being iced. They are small. You can fit a ton of them in a cooler. They're cold. They taste great. 100 calories. They use real stuff. You did not get a hangover. You drink the other shit, you get a hangover. It's the best thing in the world. We love High Noon. They're going to be sponsoring us on the road. They're involved in so many different things this season coming up. We love High Noon. Drink responsibly. Go get your High Noons. Hard seltzers.
All right, we now welcome on a very special guest from the Memphis Hustle, G League affiliate of the Memphis Grizzlies, but you might know him as a former UConn Husky. It is Christian Vital. From 2016 to 2020, you were up balling out for UConn. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Barstool HQ. You've been here before, right? You have some relationships with the Game Time crew?
Well, I played a little bit with Smitty and the guys, on Warzone and everything. This is actually my first time in the facility, which is a dope spot. You guys got a crazy setup going on.
It's nice that you say that. It's interesting. We're borrowing this studio. It's one of the biggest podcasts on my take, but it's not necessarily the nicest,
it's cool.
Right?
It's cool.
Yeah, it's like
cool.
it's like your basement. It's homey. It's homey.
Yeah, it is a little vibe. Get some Warzone, get some some games going on, flat screen, everything like that, little monitor. So, but it's a good spot. I appreciate you guys for having me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So let's dive into UConn. We're a college basketball podcast.
For sure.
Obviously, the biggest news over the last year with UConn, the transition from the AAC to the Big East. So what do you think that means just for the state of the program? And are you happy with it? Or are a lot of the alums happy with it? I'd imagine that has to be the case,
sure.
right?
Yeah, no, for sure. We're home. Basically home. When it officially got announced, it was the big thing at MSG. UConn back in the Big East. Myself being from Queens, New York, I was growing up watching the Georgetown, UConn, Syracuse. I loved the Big East. That was my dream conference, and to miss it by a year, and stuff like that, it hurts for me. But I'm glad that the program is back to where it's supposed to be, for sure.
What was the most? I'll start right off the bat. What was the most hostile crowd you had in your playing days? You talk about the Big East, the fans. I've seen some people go at it. Like, to me, I love those tickets. You're a New York City kid. We'll get into that in a little bit. But what was the most hostile crowd that you went into on the road?
Hostile crowd on the road. Okay, hostile crowd on the road. I'll probably say Cincinnati. Cincinnati was a little old Big East school as well. Yep. So it was definitely history with there. Cincinnati was crazy. I would say it wasn't a road game because when we come to the Garden, we're always home no matter who we playing against. So we were playing against Syracuse.
You think you're home against Syracuse?
They're closer. Yeah. It's an easier drive.
Hell yeah, we home against.
Syracuse travels.
I'm a Syracuse grad for what
it's
worth.
I think UConn has a great presence at the Garden. But I think we put that to a vote. You're getting a 50-50 split.
I don't know about that one. I'm taking my Huskies every time.
Syracuse
with that
people,
one.
man, they live at the Garden.
Yeah, we do too, though.
All right, okay.
We do too, and we back playing in the Garden. Big East tournament now and everything. Right. Syracuse is off, and the ACC doing their thing. But I would say the games when we played Syracuse at the Garden for sure. That was. Like my first game at the Garden freshman year, I only scored 2 points, but there were the game-winning free throws, and it was just like going to the line and hearing a sold-out MSG going crazy is nothing like it.
So I actually wanted to ask you about one of the Syracuse games at the Garden. Mm-hmm. Specifically, the post-game handshake with Coach Hurley.
Oh.
He screamed at one of your players, Jalen Adams.
My boy J.A.
He's like, yeah, let's go. And he turns his shoulder and
he
shakes
had
his
to
hand with Boeheim.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And he totally changes. What went through your mind during that moment?
It was crazy. I mean, let's be honest. It was a big win for us. First year coach. That was Coach Hurley's first year. We had won a couple games at that time, but it was early in the season, I believe. Yeah, that game was early, so it was really like big for us because that was our first big win. To let people know like we're back, in a sense, and obviously, he has to be respectful. Coach Boeheim, we're not going to send no disrespect his way. He's a legend and everything. He's done everything, you could, championship and everything. So he had to go shake his hand, but we were pumped though. Like that was big for us. You saw it. That was raw. Like, you can't fake that type of emotion. We knew we needed that game. We wanted that game, and it was in the Garden. Like, come on, you never want to lose in the Garden.
Yeah.
And it added to the rivalry as well.
Right. Of course. The Hurleys are kind of like folklore.
Different.
Right. So any coach, we like different. You know a lot of them off the top of your head. They're ties.
For sure.
But Nate Oates told us stories about the Hurleys, and we were like, no, tell us more. Like I'm from Staten Island. I watched him coach at Wagner a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right. So like, what is he like? What's your favorite story? Like, does he go like light switch like that a lot?
Bro.
Where he's screaming at somebody and then he's shaking hands?
Man, y'all don't even know.
All right, fill us in.
Yo, man, y'all don't even know. Like with Hurley. He's everything I needed, though. I'll say that. My first 2 years, it was rough. I was adjusting as well. It was a lot going on in the program. Can you hear me? Is it?
Yeah, it's all
okay. Yeah, it was just a lot, going on in the program at the time. Just a lot going on, and he came in, and it was just like he was what I needed. He helped discipline me a lot. He helped show me how to be, how to handle my stuff on the court and off the court, And I appreciate him to this day. We still talk. I was up at UConn, not too long ago. It's all love there. It's all love. We had a lot of tough moments though. Film sessions, crazy. Practices, crazy. Meetings in the office, crazy. not always on the same page, but it worked out though. You know, we were on the 6-game win. The way it ended, we were on a 6-game winning streak when COVID happened. You know, with a chance to go to the tournament, to bring UConn back to the tournament, with him at the head of head of the realm, and me, you know, leading the team. It was like we were a duo that couldn't be stopped at that time.
What's his go? You said it in film, brutal film. What's his go-to thing in film though? So if you miss a screen or miss a shot, the rewinding 6 or 7 times, or just like holding it and like standing up and just
He'll have a different couple things. He has his little laser. He has his little cat laser thing. You know, and he's sitting on the side and he's like, "So you thought that was a tough screen, huh? Or you didn't think you wanted to get that rebound today, huh?" So he's just letting us know, you know, that you got to be great. Like, you know, being at a program like UConn, you know, it demands excellence. You know, the fan base demands excellence. Like, going through those losing seasons, you know, and me being one of the guys who were playing a lot, so I was kind of getting a lot of the criticism. It was like, listen, like, if you're going to be here, people are going to demand greatness and excellence of you. You know, you go into the practice facility, you got Ben Gordon, Ray Allen, Shabazz Napier, Kemba, Andre, Rudy Gay, and like, I can't, no disrespect to the other guys, I can't, that's how our list, you know, and
Hasheem Thabit,
exactly. So Charlie Villanueva, you know, I can't even think of anyone else, but Khalid Al-Amin. So it was like,
listen, we don't bring that name up here. I'm a Duke fan. That guy ruined my life. Oh man, he was good. All right, I'll give you that. All right. A little footnote, but
no, for sure. But it's like every day is like the first time you go in the gym as a UConn, you know, basketball player, and you know, you see all of that. You see 4 championships on the banner. You see UConn All-Americans. You see the draft lottery. You see guys in the NBA, and it's like, this is what this program, like, these are the guys who built this program. So it's like, for me, I always took it as like, it was disrespectful for us to be losing like that, because that was the legacy those guys built. They were supposed to come back and be able to see a winning program that they built. So it was tough to be there, but I think we started to figure it out. And like I said, it couldn't have ended any better except with a championship, but we can't get that back, you know?
How does that work with the alumni base? You mentioned that big-time list. When you're playing there, and even right now, do those guys roll through as much as they can? They're obviously busy, but do you keep in touch, text them after game, they give you pointers? How does that work?
I was going to say, even being a pro now, like, I see how much, like, they always say you got a lot more time, you know, than you did in college as a pro, but you still don't, though. You still got other obligations. Like, I'm here today, not that this is an obligation, you know, we're at Barstool, but you know what I'm just saying? You have things to do. You still have a life. But like my senior year, Kemba came to the first night. That was lit for me. I was like, oh shit, Kemba's that first night. Like, that just let me know, and I let him know. It's crazy too. I let him know in the locker room. I'm like, listen, it ain't this season's not going to be like these last 3 seasons. I give you my word on that one. And I feel like I did what I can. We ended with a winning record that stopped the 3 losing seasons and whatnot. You know, I seen Rudy Gay, you know, in the summer one time just coming back to work out, and I'm just chopping it up with him, and he's just putting me on game as being a pro, you know, adulting in this world and stuff like that, being in the light. So it's cool for sure. It's spoken to Khalid Al-Amin, you know, a few times. I've chopped it up with Shabazz too. So it's good. You know, it's definitely a family atmosphere for sure. You know, obviously winning helps, you know, in anything you're doing. But it's good though. It's a good family to be around for sure, to be a part of.
Well, that's a perfect transition. Earlier in the episode, we talk about, I don't know, your story kind of just broke today. In a nutshell, 7 Wisconsin seniors had a closed door meeting with Greg Gard. They secretly taped it. Sam Decker came over the top and was like, "Hey, you guys are like kind of whining. You're being bitches. Like, this is soft, you know." So you talk about that presence. Do you think that holds a lot of weight as well? Guys being like, hey, this is how we do things, and that standard, and how that can get lost in some other places?
Oh, no, for sure. Because it's like when you like, I'll say, like, I inherited the greatness that the other guys did. So, like, when I went, you know, I hadn't scored a bucket, but I went into a program that was top 25 in the country, that was flying private, you know, had our own apartments, you know, catered food and all of that stuff. So that's the perk. Like when Shabazz was there, he wasn't. We heard what Shabazz was talking about, not being able to eat or eating noodles at certain times and stuff like that. That's an All-American first-round draft pick right there. Why is he struggling? And I'm a dude who's coming in as a 3-star recruit, but I'm getting the perks that he was able to give me. So it's for sure. It definitely does matter because it's like it also depends on what you're built like, your character and stuff like that. But to me, I always took it as it was disrespectful to not be taking the craft, to be taking the game serious, to not be, like I said, when Shabazz was there, they didn't have a practice facility. Like when we got the cold tub, hot tub, we got a whirlpool for dudes who need to rehab injuries but don't need to put too much stress on their bodies. A decked out weight room, crazy. The weight room got changed every year I was there.
They didn't have that when Shabazz Napier was there.
No, we didn't have. They were all practicing in Gamble when Kemba was there.
You wonder how they're winning a fucking title.
Just different, baby. Huskies is
Crazy,
just different.
yeah,
Huskies
crazy.
is different. But that's just to put a light on it. Like those dudes didn't have that. So think about when Ray was there. I'm talking about Shabazz, but think about when Ben, when Ray, when Andre, Kemba, and all those guys. And they didn't have any of that, and they were making it happen. So for me personally, it was just like, in the beginning it was hard because I didn't understand. I'm a 19-year-old kid. I'm like, yo, the world is on my feet right now. Yeah. Like I'm lit. I'm from New York. I was going to prep school in Connecticut. I stayed home. I had all the love in the world. So it was like I didn't really understand it. But each year that I felt like more was getting put on me to help the program succeed at the time. It was like, I understand, like, I can't disrespect the craft. I can't disrespect, the history of this program because that's just not cool.
Wow. One thing we touched on earlier in the show, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, is obviously the main storyline right now with the NCAA and compensation and the NIL and the Supreme Court. Back in your day, how much realistically, maybe a ballpark, do you think you or your teammates could have realistically made that these guys maybe in the future can start to make because of what's starting to be allowed?
Yeah, so I'll be completely honest. For me, I was a 3-star recruit. Like, my name now is much different than it was 4 or 5 years ago. Being at UConn helped me out a lot. So I'm not even gonna act like it didn't. So for me personally, I don't really know. Like, yeah, I could have got this and I could have got that for sure, of course. But I think now it's just different. I think social media is just a different beast than it was when I first got to UConn. You know what I mean? Having a blue check on your Instagram means like the world now. Being verified or having 10K, 20K, and stuff like that. But to be honest, I'm happy for these young guys though, because people don't understand, like, most of us are all coming from the same situation. It's like we're not missing meals, we're not starving and stuff like that, but it's like some extra money can help out the family, and if a school is making, like, I remember I went to a party my sophomore year. I went to a campus party and I saw a dude with my jersey on, like Vital, number 1, UConn and everything. I'm like, damn, like, you got that from somewhere. But I didn't get anything put in my pocket for that. So I know a lot of people say, well, you're getting a free education, well, this and that. Well, I didn't go to UConn to get a free education. I went to go play basketball, at a big-time university, which is a mini professional. If you think about it, what other pro teams are in Connecticut?
Right.
Exactly. We are the Celtics. Exactly.
Yeah.
Besides and who the Suns are good because we actually went to some of their games.
Yeah.
For sure. So no disrespect to the WNBA at all.
You make a good point. There's no doubt. In the state of Connecticut, 1-2 teams are Connecticut men and women.
I'll correct myself. I said there's no men's professional basketball team in Connecticut.
Absolutely.
We are the professional team. So to see my senior night, my senior night, we had a sold out Gamble. How many tickets were sold because it was Christian Vital's last game? Right. I'm not the biggest thing in the world at all, but on that night, tickets were sold. When I walked out, I saw my sophomore year, when we was losing, those seats were empty. My senior year, when we got a top 25 school coming in, and the senior night, one of the last home games of the season, and I'm looking up, and it's filled to the top where all the banners and everything are. I'm like, well, how much was that having to, not even with myself, but my teammates as well? Like, how much of a part did we have to play in that? So I think it's a different world we're in. To me, I was like, at this point, I'm getting paid now to play basketball. So selfishly, it's like, at least I'm glad I was able to make it out. But for the younger guys, I'm glad that they could start making something because it helps their family for sure and themselves. Like, if we look at ourselves as young professional athletes. So it's like, why doesn't everyone else? You know, you're buying tickets to come to our game. The games aren't free. You know, you're not coming to the UConn Syracuse game at the Garden for $0.00. They're taxing that shit. You feel me? So that's where I feel on it. But I'm happy. I'm past it personally, but I'm happy that the young guys do have that opportunity. People always say, you know, you want better for the future and the younger guys than what you had, and I'll be wrong if I didn't want the same for them.
Absolutely. You talk a little bit about the business aspect of it, and you understand that now, right?
For sure.
You got into that a little bit early. You're from Queens, right? So I guess two-part question. You're from Queens College area of Queens?
Queens Village.
Queens Village.
Hollis, Queens.
Right. Why not go to Middle Village? Why didn't you go to Christ the King High School? But off of that, either way, you ended up going away to school. So at that point, when you went away to high school in Connecticut, is that when you kind of began to understand that, hey, this is a little bit of a business here, like I'm investing in my future?
To be honest with you, I always wanted to go to Christ the King. I'll be completely honest with you.
Best league in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Best league in the country.
Especially at that time. It's like being from Queens. I have a cousin, Mamani. She actually went to Christ the King, and she was on the girls' team.
Oh, they're loaded too, yeah.
She was nice, you feel me? So I'm like, damn, I'm trying to go there. So
Sponsored
she actually,
by Nike.
You feel me?
Nice sweatsuits.
Braun, you feel me? So it's like, you know, I mean, the Nike stuff is still coming in. UConn, baby, we good though. Don't even worry about it. Nike is good family. Nike's good people. But it was that's exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Christ the King, but she ended up actually going to prep school because she saw the benefits of it as well, and just going out there, it was just, I did start to see the business of it. It was better for me to get out the city. I'm glad that I appreciate the experience 100% because it helped me see more of the world. You know, being from New York, if you just stay in New York, you know, you think it's just the city. You know us. We're New York dudes is like, this is our world and nothing else. You know, our shit don't stink. Blah blah blah. But once you get out and you start to experience, you know, other cultures, you know, when I first went to boarding school at 15, you know, I had classmates I had a class, and it was classmates from China, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Brazil, this place, that place, you know, and I think that definitely helped me a lot because when I got to college, it didn't seem so big, you know. It was cool and it was fun and everything, but it's just I don't think I was as overwhelmed as I would have been if I just stayed home and stayed in my comfort zone. I think that's the one thing about prep school. It forces you to get out of your comfort zone. You know, you're in the middle of nowhere. You got to interact with other people, or you're just gonna sit in your room and be bored all day. And you know, and I think it did end up being the best thing for me, which helped me get to UConn and, you know, to be able to speak to you guys here today.
One thing that happened during your time on campus at UConn that you weren't a part of, but I'm sure you witnessed, the women's winning streak.
Oh,
111 games in a row. Can you explain to us what the vibe was like? And then obviously, unfortunately, ended in the Final Four in 2017, but just the intensity.
Bro.
Great for the women's game, too, I assume.
Of course. Like, the women, and that's another thing, like, going to UConn, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, I was never a guy who was like, yo, let me go put on this WNBA game or watch, you know, women's sports or women's basketball since. But being at UConn for 4 years completely changed that. I got so much respect for not only women's basketball, but for women's sports. And it was like, not that I didn't like it or I said, oh, they're whack or anything. It's just like, it just wasn't my interest, you know, it just wasn't my thing. But, like, going to those games, like, I was at the game when they won their 100th game, and I was just like, yo.
In a row.
Yo, this is – in a row, yeah. Don't get that 100 games in a row. Like, that's unheard of. You know what I mean? So, it was like – it was just crazy to be a part of from a fan standpoint because we're in the stands and we're sitting next to the fans going crazy, like wanting them to do well because, like, that's the thing, like, being there, we share the same facility. So that practice facility, you know, we as the men's side and it's the women's side. And we're cool. We're all cool. We share the weight room together. We share the training area, the hot tub, cold tub together. So we talk, we chop it up, da-da-da. And it's just a good vibe. So it was definitely 100% cool to see them, you know, doing that, you know, because it's all love.
Coach Auriemma, legend.
Coach, he's the legend. He's actually cool people. Like, I haven't had I haven't shared the most words with him, but I mean, I think there's a respect factor. Like every time I would see him in the facility, he'll give me a head nod. He'll either be working on his treadmill or in the training room doing his thing and he'd be like, "What's up, Steve? How you doing?" Da da da. And I'm just like, "Oh shit, that's Gino right there." You know.
Well, I've heard. So you're kind of killing the rumor that I had.
Oh.
And you were there before he was there.
Uh-huh.
But did you hear anything through a grapevine? Did Calhoun and Auriemma kind of butt heads? I heard there's a little hostility there behind the scenes. They might play like out to the public, "Oh yeah, I love Gino and I love Jim," but I heard that there's like signs on the door. There's a little bit of competitive.
I haven't seen or heard anything of that.
I think you just pleading the fifth. But
I haven't seen or heard anything. You feel me? Calhoun wasn't too much in the building by the time I got there. You know, he had built his legacy up already. But I would like to think that is all love in the UConn family.
I'm glad Marty's not here because anytime I say I have sources or I hear things, he's like, "You're wrong again." I mean, so we're lucky our third guy's not here because he's shitting all over me.
He's in Omaha for the college.
He was shitting all over me.
Some lighter questions to wrap up here.
For sure.
The old UConn logo or the current one? The one with the scruff and like the video games? I like that one with the tongue really sticking out.
You like the new one?
No, I like the older
old
one. What do you think?
People are always gonna go retro. I feel like people don't really like change too much.
Fair.
You know, people like what they're used to, their comfort zones, as I was kind of talking about. For me, I kind of played with the old one. I wouldn't mind if we could do like, you know, keep the new one, but you know, for some games do a retro night. You know, bring back the old one. Put the old Husky on a jersey or two. I mean, it's Nike. We could do whatever, or they could do whatever they want. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of both because I grew up watching UConn with the old one, so that's, you know. But I played with the new one, so I'm on the fence
50-50.
about it.
I got two more. Best pizza in Queens. Dave does the pizza reviews. Where's the best pizza in Queens?
You got to go to Gabby's. You got to go to
Has he
Gabby's
done
on
that
Hillside.
yet? Do we know? I'll have to look that up.
Gabby's on Hillside for
Okay.
sure. Gabby's on Hillside.
And then the other thing is actually the most puzzling thing. You're on a full scholarship. It says you were an RA as a senior. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, one, why? I hate RAs. And two,
I
I
was
guess
a chill already though.
you didn't need
You bust people for drinking?
Never,
what's the
man.
funniest story you had as an RA? Why'd you do it too? And then, you know,
To be honest with you, I always felt like I've been like a natural born leader in a sense. So I would say, you know, I'm the oldest. I got how many siblings? I got a lot of siblings. I got to count on two hands for my
Wow.
siblings. But I'm the oldest one. You know what I mean? So I think, and just naturally, like I just feel like I'm just a natural born leader. Like playing a guard position, playing point guard. You know, you got to be able to but help your teammates and everything like that. And I was at that when I was an RA. I was an RA with the younger kids, so I was kind of like helping them out. You know, with the transition of being away from home because I was 15 years old away from home, you know, not living with my mom anymore and everything like that. So I was a RA with the younger dudes, so to say. And I just think it just helped me, you know, help me be in a leadership position and know not how to take advantage of it, not how to, you know, boss people around. Like, you know, you need to be a good leader. Like, if you're not a good leader, people won't follow you. People won't listen to you. Right. They won't respect you. So I think that just kind of helped me, you know, just to be in that space of I know I can do what I want, but how to go about it, you know, and how to make everyone feel like, you know, one is not higher than the other. And they let me watch TV later, too. So, I had a few rules I didn't have to listen to.
all right, perfect.
That's funny. One final question. We're on the street. Is you're a big time chess player?
Big time.
How does that work? You really? Have you played
matter.
from the beginning?
I
you
was
playing for a while, or how does that?
When I was being in Queens and everything like that, I was going to a daycare. It's called Blanche Daycare, right on Hollis, Queens.
Okay.
And I started playing a little bit before that, just like recreational and stuff like that. But when I was there, it was like this afternoon thing, and we would play chess all the time. And I'm a natural competitive dude. Like, I can't do anything just to half-ass it. I can't do it. It's just not in me. So when I was playing, and I was playing the older kids, they were kind of beating me. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, I can't go like that. You feel me? I got to put in some work. So it just mentally is just like, and it's fun too. I think it just helps you about life, like how to think. You know, they say you got to think 2-3 moves ahead in the game, and I think it's just a fun competitive thing. I can't play basketball 24 hours out of the day, and I can't do that all my life. So I think it's just something that I enjoy. And being there, I actually went into chess tournaments.
Wow.
I actually went into some chess tournaments. I won one in at Rectory at my first boarding school. I continued playing chess tournaments there, but the chess tournaments really started for me when I was at my after school daycare program.
You watch Queen's Gambit?
I have seen it.
It's good,
it. And
right?
it's a fire show now for sure. She's tough though. I mean, it's scripted and everything like that, obviously. But it's definitely good. It's definitely good for the entertainment piece for sure. But it definitely put a light on chess though of how it is what's the word I'm looking for? It is a community. It is a big community. There is a big chess community out there.
Last one real quick. NBA draft lottery is, I think, tonight when it
We're
premieres.
Tuesday.
We're huge Cade Cunningham guys.
Okay.
You're a point guard. You're obviously smarter at basketball than all of us. What's a flaw in his game? Because I think he's, you know what I mean? So, like, we love him. He's great. Everybody knows all the stats. What could be something that he's got to improve on?
I'll be honest with you. Like, I played an American East Coast dude. I didn't really see too many Oklahoma State games. I know he's a big ass guard though. I know he's a big ass guard who could definitely work. Definitely go at it for sure. He's in the talks of being the number one pick for a reason. So I'll say that. I would say honestly, if anything, just adjusting to that NBA game, like just being in the bubble, this past year and everything like that. The game is completely different, and some guys adjust well to it, some guys don't. So I'll say that. But like I said, he wouldn't be in the conversation for it if he didn't know something. You know what I mean? So best kudos to him. Best of luck to him, and hopefully he goes where he wants to go.
All right. Well, that is Christian Vital, formerly of UConn, now at the Memphis Hustle. We'll be rooting for you to get that call up to the NBA.
I appreciate it.
Some point soon.
Soon come.
Yes, but thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. My
Thanks
guys.
a lot. So that was former UConn guard and member of the Memphis Hustle, Christian Vital. A lot of good stuff. Hurley's a nut jobs. We know that.
I like the laser pointer
Oh,
aspect.
I mean, yeah, I was trying to get him. I'm sure it probably brings back like bad memories for him of missing screens and stuff. But some high level stuff on name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
A cultured guy. Learned a lot about different people from prep school. Knew about the business. Rooting for the kid a lot.
I can only imagine.
I liked him at his time at UConn. Love him now.
What it was like being on that campus during the women's team 111 game winning streak. That will never be broken again. It's 4 years. Like, what? It's impossible.
Yeah, you're almost playing again. I mean, forget the other people in your conference. You're just playing against the people across the hall, right?
Yeah.
So they're pushing each other.
But he was awesome. Yeah, we're rooting for him to break through, get called up next year.
Now he's got to go yell with the general, playing fucking
he's
game
playing
time in the romper room, as they say. So
yeah. Now let's wrap up the show. We have some news and notes around the country, some scheduling, some coaching updates, and some transfer news. First up, Jimmy V Classic. We talked a few weeks ago. It's always a doubleheader. The first game was announced, Villanova-Syracuse, which is very exciting. Now, the second game.
I think that's going to be the second game.
Right. It'll be the first announced
yeah,
game. It'll
yeah,
probably
absolutely.
be the marquee one.
They're dumb if they put that first. Although,
Did you see
by
what
the
first
time
was?
I did, hold on. By the time the second game tips, it's usually around 9:40. I think Villanova-Syracuse might be first. Who's the second game?
They just announced Texas Tech, Tennessee. That's a good game.
It is. Tennessee, I know, is a little high. Texas Tech, I feel like
A little rebuild.
lost a lot. Yeah, lost a
Best
lot.
player,
Lost Beard,
or-
lost McClung.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a bunch of guys transfer as well?
Yeah.
Texas Tech seems a little watered down.
Right. So we'll see.
There's been some years where those two games are home runs. I think that second game's a little watered down for my liking.
Right. So we'll see what happens with that, but hopefully we can go to that.
Oh, yeah.
Next door at the Garden, Villanova, Syracuse, Texas Tech, Tennessee.
I mean,
Seems like a lot of fun.
we're boys with Buddy. I don't care who's say, like, we're going down and edging out the Bayhon. Hey, move over.
Yeah.
My friend Buddy's playing.
Also-
like, who the fuck are these guys? But we're sitting.
The Syracuse contingent in New York City.
Oh, it's going to be
unbelievable.
like, I
Yeah.
joke like
It's
that.
amazing.
You could offer somebody $1,000. Be like, hey, can you move up 5 rows? They wouldn't do it. Because
Right.
Syracuse, those people travel
Yeah.
well. That's why I miss them so much in the Big East.
Yeah.
I really,
Selfishly, living here now too, being able to see them in the Big East tournament would've been cool.
Syracuse has got to be back in the the ACC. I'm sorry, in the Big East, and Maryland has to be back in the ACC.
Yeah,
There's certain things that shouldn't have changed.
yeah, we'll see. Speaking of Maryland, they're hosting the Vermont Catamounts next season.
I saw that. Who was the other team that?
Providence also hosting the Vermont
Right.
Catamounts.
Yeah, I tweeted at Coach Cooley
Yeah.
hanging on you. I mean, listen, we like Vermont. It's fun to. We need Vermont to be good, or you to be.
I mean, they're always going to be good in the America
emotionally
East.
invested in Vermont and
So
Syracuse,
so Marty
so
can
that their storylines
take a dump
because,
on me
of
because
course,
he doesn't
yeah.
care about them playing
Without a
New Hampshire
doubt
on Wednesday night.
Yeah, like your painful losses, like we need that stuff. It's
Yeah.
good for the pod.
So the big dog, Coach Cooley, if you got some tickets lying around for that game,
Be up there, get some dinner.
Yeah, would love to make
hanging
that
on
happen.
them, Coach.
Another big time home and home series that's beginning this season: Houston and Virginia. Over at first to 50 wins.
The first of 47 wins.
47 wins.
Marty's gonna cry having to watch that game.
What do you think the over under will be? Like 100?
Marty was right about a lot of things. How many times did I say Houston? The minute we watched them beat the shit out of Texas Tech, I was like, they are for real.
Yeah.
I knew it. I liked them a lot.
Yeah, that was like the first weekend, right?
First-
You guys were
early.
all in on Texas Tech, and they just
Early, and I'm
Houston
like,
just
nope.
smoked them.
There's more. You can learn more about a team if you're wrong about them. Yeah, I mean Virginia. I don't know. Game's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be
The
ugly.
over under will probably be 100.
They
probably
can't
110.
set it
Probably
that
110.
low. 111. Yeah,
Yeah.
112. I mean something gross.
Yeah. Not Virginia. Different team in orange. Getting a little confused. UMass transfer Trey Mitchell commits to Texas. He was their best player.
I don't know how these kids are they just so like the 12th man or the 11th guy who wasn't going to get any playing time. Did they just boot him and be like, "Hey, your scholarship's up"? Texas, Arkansas, Alabama, they're
so many
playing the
transfers.
transfer portal like
Right.
well, I'm not knocking them.
Yeah.
But Beard, how does he have another spot this late in the game? If he
But-
got him in April, I don't have an issue with it.
Remember,
with
with COVID, all the seniors had a chance to stay, so there might be inflated rosters this year.
You think they're giving him? Is that confirmed?
I don't know. I just feel like with any senior has the right to stay because
Are they
of COVID.
giving him more spots? That's something to look into. We'll
Yeah,
have to
so
fact
we're gonna
check
have
that.
an 18-man roster or something. I don't know how it's gonna work, but
Well, technically, so they could have 25 guys on their roster,
scholarship.
but yeah,
Yeah.
it's the amount of scholarships.
right, because
Um,
like sometimes walk-ons don't travel, whatever. Like
Yeah,
financially
yeah.
for
Like
home
you could,
games.
if you know you're gonna get banged, or you could just add walk-ons. Like I don't.
Right.
There's no restriction.
think
with
about
that.
it. That's
but
why
again,
we see-
this kid Trey Mitchell deserves a scholarship.
Oh, yeah.
obviously, right? So I just don't understand how there's more scholarships.
yeah, he's
And even the other part of it is how they're going to have a bowl. This kid
He's a
averaged what,
scorer.
18 at UMass,
he scored
16 at UMass. I
55
thought I
in his
read.
last 3 games. Yeah,
What did he average for the year? I thought I saw like 18 points a game.
19 points per game,
19
7
points.
rebounds per game, 6'9", 240 pounds. So Texas could use a scorer.
Did Greg Brown declare for the draft?
Greg Brown going pro.
What about the guards? Like Texas is supposed to be loaded. Either way, the intricacies of the roster we'll get to. I meet Chris Beard. I'm asking him straight up, how do you know there's one ball, right, dude? Like,
All right, so for Texas, Courtney Ramey and Andrew Jones are returning, and then Trey Mitchell will be in the starting 5 as well. So obviously you lose Greg Brown, but I mean we'll see. They obviously have a new look. It's crazy. Chris Beard just went from Texas Tech to Texas. Like that happened so long ago, right? Didn't it happen like during the tournament or the week after? It's like we'll talk about it now. We'll forget about it for 3 months, and then in October we'll be like, oh crap, he's there.
yeah, fans back too. Like a lot of these rivalries.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, again, I think the Big 12 has a ton of underrated rivalries.
Yeah.
Like Oklahoma, Texas. I remember that triple overtime game with Kevin Durant back in the day, 07. Iowa State mixes it up with Kansas a lot
Yeah,
for a
they've been
while.
bad the last
When
few
they
years.
had the guy for the
George
Bulls,
Niang,
that's
Niang.
no, yeah, but the coach is blanking. Guy who ended up with the
Fred
Bulls,
Hoiberg.
Hoiberg. Then Hoiberg,
Yeah.
Texas Tech. Now we got some, the Big 12 again. I know Frischilla loves it. I like the Big 12 a lot too. I think the rivalries and that shit works. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah. this might get confusing, and we just confused Virginia for Texas, but Trey Murphy from Virginia declares for the draft. Will average 11 points per game, 43% 3-point shooter. So they'll have
They're a system.
quarterback.
Yeah, they're a system. They'll figure it out. They're a
Right.
system.
Tony Bennett,
It's
you
hard.
plug
I know
him
it
in.
sounds cliche. Virginia is a system. They will get guys to
They'll
play
win
slow,
48,
be
44
efficient,
games.
run the block. What do they call that? The block pick. It's their offense. Block pick thing. Jay Billis explained it once in a
I'm
video.
not sure.
It's a block. Whatever. Tony Bennett
Yeah.
singing the hits.
Defending champion Baylor
Not
Bears
scoring.
are getting the mullet back. Matthew Meyer returning to Baylor. So that's good for the bench. We'll get some clips throughout the season. That's just good for content's sake.
I think Myers now. So Scott Drew, we talked about obviously the monkey on his back, trying to win a championship, right? Him and Few. Now that he won the championship, you don't get complacent. But Myers' leash, right? So last year, he's probably like, "What the fuck are you doing? Don't do this." Like now, it's like we're off of the championship.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit longer of a leash. This guy's gonna be doing whatever he wants.
And with Butler gone, obviously he becomes more of a face of a team.
yeah,
But
like I hope he just goes.
He would be fun
I
to
hope
have
he
on.
goes. Yes, I hope he goes even more extreme. Like during a blowout in a non-conference, he orders a pizza to the bench. Like I really hope he goes beyond and beyond for the shtick.
yeah, so that's exciting. Another thing we were talking about before the show, Seventh Woods. He started his career at North Carolina, transferred to South Carolina. Now he commits to Morgan State. So that's a little bit of a different vibe than North Carolina and South Carolina.
I mean, good luck for his parents trying to find him on TV. I hope you're going to the games.
The MEAC, what are they on? ESPN Plus?
Yeah, it's not national. Like you better pay for those subscriptions. I don't think the MEAC's on. I think that shit's deep.
He was known for having a sick mixtape
Okay.
back in the day.
All right. Either way, I mean, listen, Jake. If I told you to find, we're gonna time each other. I have to find the North Carolina or South Carolina game, and you have to find the Morgan State
versus
game.
Norfolk State.
Who's gonna win?
You would obviously win.
There you go. So that's all I meant. His parents still support him, root for the
I mean,
kid.
you have
Well
your cloud
done.
box, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. A couple more things here. Speaking of North Carolina, Armando Bacot withdrawing from the draft, returning.
coming back,
That's
right?
big for Hubert.
Yeah, he needs some locker room presence and returning guys.
Yeah, and then
Consistency in your first year.
one more note here before we wrap up the show. We're at that point in the offseason. Rothstein tweeted this out, and I just can't believe it's like big news. And no disrespect to these schools, but Emmanuel Tommy is joining the staff at Alabama A&M as an assistant coach. Was previously the director of basketball operations at McNeese. Also worked at South Alabama.
The guy,
How many people are scrolling Twitter and being like, "Wow"? And again,
there is
we're
grind.
mid-major guys.
There's a grind for those guys. That's
Absolutely.
and it's you like where you are, but then there's a little bit more pay. You kind of feel for the families. You do have to move around a lot. I'm not joking around.
No,
That
we're not.
shit's
No,
legit.
I have
Shit's
relationships
legit.
with assistant coaches. It's amazing. It's just I love Rothstein's dedication. He's tweeting the assistant coach movements in the mid-major world.
Who was it? Did somebody tell us on their podcast that they found out? They were like, "Hey, can I just tell my kids?" And the news already broke. Was that Oates? Did he say it on PMT? I feel like I heard that.
I remember like Hard Knocks. Vontae Davis said he had to tell his grandma when he was traded or something.
No, I remember a college coach being like, "Can you just give me a day to let me tell my kids?" And the news had already broke. And the kids text them like, "Hey, you're leaving?" I forget where I heard that. It's probably
Was it Peichel?
yes, it was fucking Peichel. Good memory.
What was it?
Peichel said when we asked, he was coming from where was Stony Brook. He was coming from Stony Brook.
Yeah.
He went out to the dinner. It was one of our first. I knew I'm not fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey," like the guy shook his hand at dinner. I remember reading that in the article. I talked to him. He closed it at a breakfast. It wasn't a dinner. It was a breakfast. And he was like, "You're going to be the next coach of Rutgers." He's like, "All right, give me a day to just tell my kids.
Yeah.
We're going to have to move. Like, I got to tell my kids." And they couldn't. The beat reporters got in or alumni or whatever. And the news broke. And Peichel's kids text him like, "Hey, Dad, we're fucking moving." Yeah, it's you can go back
Well,
and
luckily,
watch the
Long
interview
Island-
on our YouTube channel, by the way. Every
Yes.
interview we've ever had is on YouTube.
Yes.
And that stuff's timeless. I know we talk about maybe some upcoming games, but a lot of those stories and stuff you can get to know the coaches that, you know, maybe you have no college team and you just start picking guys. You're like, "Oh, I want to be a Bobby Huggins guy. I want to be this guy." You can go watch those stories
Yeah.
and interviews and get to know these guys. So, yeah, good. Peichel. Good pull.
Yeah, so luckily Long Island to Piscataway isn't that much of a culture
Not
shock.
horrific, but
yeah.
yeah, I mean, just an interesting thing, and that's
But yeah, shout out to
basically
Coach
how it goes.
Emmanuel Tommy, who's joining Alabama A&M as an assistant coach, because those guys grind, and maybe he'll be a head coach one day.
Sure.
Who knows? All right, one more bit of breaking news. This actually just happened as we were finishing recording the podcast. Some recruiting news. Moving ahead to the 2022 recruiting rankings. The number 15 prospect, Dior Johnson, a point guard from California, 5 stars. He's going to your Oregon Ducks, Rico. You're a big Oregon guy.
we said it. We took him in the draft. Altman's. I think Altman's going to get back to a Final Four. I would like to see Altman in a championship game. Listen, we grew up on the legends, but times are changing. It's going to be interesting now to see. It's maybe a different team in the final every year. Like a team gets hot, things go. Altman's a lifer. I would like to see him get back to the Final Four. A 5-star recruit can definitely help you.
Remember, this year, they already got Syracuse transfer Quincy Guerrier, Devion Harmon, Jacob Young from Rutgers.
Yeah,
they're going to be loaded this year. They're top 10 preseason, probably.
They're top 10?
I mean, the Ross Team 45, the number
That's
7.
a good ranking to go off of. Yeah. I'm a little checked out as far as I know who's, kind of at the top.
Of course.
Gonzaga, UCLA, Arkansas, Alabama.
And that's not even for this season. So they're
right, yeah,
they're
so
cooking.
good. So they're loading up, so that's good. I always root for the Ducks. Just change the fucking court, please.
That's all
All right,
got.
that about does it. Tweet at us your ideas, I guess. We're going to be in Alabama and Arkansas.
So our next show will be released in July.
Right.
And we're 3 weeks away from our trip.
Yep. So let us know what you want to see. I am not above doing going live on Twitter for the 8-hour drive.
Not the entirety of it.
Not the entirety.
some
I
of it.
might need it to stay up, depending on what time we leave. But, we'll take some questions, maybe interact with some people.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
Do
I've gotten so many recommendations of places to
they're
go.
all over.
Yeah.
I don't know
In
if
both
we're even have
places.
the time.
We're gonna have the time.
All
Right
over
on time. It's gonna be a tight trip.
Yeah. Do some show tunes. Sing. We'll be a lot in that car ride. Marty's probably gonna jump out of the highway and get an Uber.
Marty, what about me? I'm going to be editing in the back.
As long as you don't drive, because we returned
I'm
a rental
driving.
car once in Philly, and Rico went backwards
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
driving.
spikes at rental car and was
driving.
this close to popping the tires.
I'm driving. All right, that about does it for Barstool Bench Mob. Like we said, check out the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.
Peace, man.
Oh, peace.